Hi everyone and welcome to the Simple Knit podcast. My name is Elina and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Simple Knit Co. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. This is a video style podcast coming to you from Brisbane, Australia, all about what I've been knitting. A little bit of show and tell, a little bit of chit chat, but thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to come and hang out with me. If you're a new viewer, welcome. It is lovely to meet you and thanks for stopping by. And to all my lovely returning viewers, it is wonderful to see you again and I hope you are all well. It's a beautiful sunny morning here. It was really stormy yesterday, but it has definitely cleared up. It was good. It had some really heavy rain, which we really needed, but now it is a beautiful spring day. Pour yourself a drink. We've got some serious knitting to talk about today, and actually my first me-made thing this week is I've got here just a little iced cold brew coffee with oat milk that I made myself. I mean, it's basically Little House on the Prairie over here. I shouldn't have dairy, but I do anyway because I have no self-control. But milk is definitely the thing that I find most difficult to digest. And I mean, I drink my hot coffee black, usually drink my cold coffee black as well. Sometimes with my cold, I make my own cold brew, and sometimes I'll mix it with sparkling water or tonic water, which is both really fun. But sometimes you just want, because when you make cold brew coffee, it's like double the strength of regular coffee, so you do need to dilute it with something. And I'm off almond milk because the ethics of almond farming, I listened to a podcast about it, that like almond farmers in the Murray-Darling Basin are stealing all the water. So I usually try to get Australian produce, but then Australian almonds are doing really bad for other farmers and agribusiness and all of it's ethical consumption is a minefield, and once you get obsessed with something, you find out too much and you can't go back. So I'm off almond milk, which was my kind of my go-to. So then I was drinking oat milk, and the best oat milk is Oatly, but that comes from Sweden, and it also seems ridiculous to have oat milk that comes that far across the sea. So making your own nut milk is quite expensive because buying nuts in bulk enough to make a milk is quite expensive, but oats not that expensive. So I made my first batch of my own oat milk yesterday. It will be my last batch for a little while because I did break my food processor in the process. But it was really easy. I just kind of used two recipes that I'll link down below. I just kind of mishmashed. They seemed like they made sense, and so I took the elements from each one that made sense to me, and it's pretty good. Oat milk doesn't have much of a taste, and this one you put a little bit of an oil in it just to give it a little bit, just to emulsify it a little bit. It's actually like surprisingly good. So for something in my terrible like $20 food processor that I then broke in the process, it's actually surprisingly good. But this is not an oat milk podcast. This is a knitting podcast, and I've just spent 4 minutes talking about oat milk. So on to knitting things. The first thing is what I'm wearing today. I'm slightly more dressed up than I would usually be on a Sunday morning, even though I am going out right after this, but still I'm wearing slightly fancier than I would usually be. But when the mood strikes. So I'm wearing my Fakuro top by Whitney Hayward. One of my favorite knit, I think maybe my favorite knit thing I've ever made. It's so great. I made it in Fibra Natura cottonwood in the colorways that I do not remember because they have arbitrary names that have nothing to do with what color they are. I think this is cream, but these other two have like names that I'm never going to remember. But my Ravelry page will be linked down below so you can see what colors I used that kind of replicate the colors in the original sample, which is knit in wool, but I knit it in cotton. And yeah, it's really cute. It's just a little cropped top. I'll just stand up so you have a look. I'm wearing this like thing underneath, but it's just like a cropped boxy top with a little bit of color work. I love it. I wear a collared shirt I wear a collared shirt under it and wear it to work sometimes. Wear it casually. It's a really cute cropped length to wear even over skirts and things. It's great. It's probably my favorite finished object, and it's wearing really well. Like it's cotton is not the most fun fiber to knit with sometimes, but this one is really soft. It's not peeling. It hasn't stretched out too much. all good. Actually, this, and it's really quite an affordable cotton yarn. Cotton's another fibre that the ethics of farming cotton, should I be knitting with it? It's a minefield, but I really do like this. Really do like this yarn, really like this top. Yeah, highly recommend knitting this one up. So, I have some finished objects to share with you this week. I actually have 2 finished pairs of socks. So, the 2 pairs of socks that I've been working on for ages are finally finished. I'll start with the most recently finished pair. This is an unblocked sock because I just finished knitting it yesterday. So this is a little squishy, unfinished sock. Look at that beautiful tubular bind off. Oh yeah. And here is one that I prepared earlier that's actually nicely blocked. So this is the Galore sock by Claire Mountain of Sister Mountain. It is a free pattern if you sign up for her newsletter. I will have that's linked through the Ravelry pattern page that you can click on. This is the second pair of these socks that I've made and I absolutely love them. I knit the 60 stitch count size on a 2.5mm needle. I used my higher sharps, and the yarn that I used is Retrosaria Mondim in this navy colour and this beautiful pink speckledy colour. It's like a pale pink with then blue and darker pink speckles all through it that kind of alternate in a really pretty way up the yarn, up the body of the sock. It looks really cool. I'll have my Ravelry project page with the colourway numbers for the regular Mondim colourways. They just have numbers. So yeah. I've made this sock pattern before and I absolutely love it. They're some of the best fitting socks I own. So, and this pair is the same. It's really good. The only modification I made was I substituted in a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and that's the only modification I made. But yeah, so you knit them toe up. They're really cool. And on the unblocked version you can kind of see on the foot of the sock, because you have the texture pattern on the bottom, on the top, and the stockinette on the bottom, the sole is kind of longer than the top of the foot, which kind of gives it this weird banana shape. But when you're wearing it, it actually fits your foot really well, because like your foot isn't just a standard like right angle. There is like foot. It's, you know, like a 3D object. So the way that this part of the sock, it looks really weird when it's not on your foot, but when you are wearing it, it just kind of clings to your foot and fits really well, stays on your foot really well. And I have said before, I've said it today already, the first pair I made is probably the best fitting pair of handmade socks that I've ever had, so that's definitely why I wanted to make a second pair in this super cute yarn, because they do fit really well. And I only used about 30 grams of each colour for both socks, so I have like over 2/3 of both of these skeins left. So I think what I'm going to do with it, with the speckled pink colour, I think I want to make a pair of Hermione's Everyday socks, or a different kind of textured sock, because I think this colourway looks really cute in a textured pattern. So I'll either do, yeah, either the Hermione's Everyday sock, or I might make another pair of Jessica Gore's Easy Feet socks, because I really love those socks as well. And then with the navy, I think I might use that to make a hat, either for myself or for someone else, because there'll be a nice neutral colour for a nice like ribbed beanie. So yeah, and I still have heaps of that yarn left over to make something else. But yeah, super stoked with those socks. And now, because I can only find one of my sock blockers, I am just going, which one of these has been blocked? This one. My second finished object is my other pair of socks that I checked on Ravelry and I have been working on for 6 months. This is what happens when a project just lives in my handbag and I never get it out and knit on it, it takes forever to finish. So I have these beautiful vanilla socks, just a very basic pattern. It's 64 stitches on 2mm needles. I knit these with my Chalgu 9-inch circular needle. I did about 20 rows. I did a long tail cast on, 20 rows of 2x2 rib, then stockinette. I did a afterthought heel as per the Smooth Operator Socks by Susan B. Anderson, my first ever afterthought heel. And all of the information is in my Ravelry project page. Yeah, I like the afterthought heel. I don't love the fit on my foot, but we'll see as I wear it. I might like it more or less. And the yarns that I used for the heel, this is more Retrosaria Mondim in this hot pink colour that I love. I made my hipster hat out of this, and now I've got it, so I've still got about half the skein left over, so using it for really fun heels. And I think the pink looks amazing with this beautiful colourway from Sweet Sparrow Yarns. It's called There's Coffee in this nebula. It is a merino nylon stellina base, so it's sparkly, and it alternates these beautiful dark brown stripes with these amazing like galaxy coloured speckled stripes. Julie doesn't stock this colour super often, but when she does, I highly recommend picking some up because it is absolutely beautiful. So there are two. This nice little squishy one here. Yeah, as I said, it's my first time doing an afterthought heel. I'll see how I like it as I wear it. So far, I don't really love the way it kind of fits over the arch of my foot in these socks. It's just the way that it fits is just really different. This is the same sock formula I usually use with Fish Lips Kiss Heel, and I prefer the way the Fish Lips Kiss Heel fits, but I'll just wear these and see how I go. That's the really fun thing about sock knitting, is there's always something new to try. And yeah, just another pair of socks that are finally finished. I love this yarn. It's so beautiful, but I'm so glad I'm not knitting these anymore. Yeah, a second pair of socks. And to celebrate the fact that I finished both of the pairs of socks that I was knitting, I cast on another pair of socks yesterday. And I made, for the fact I only cast these on yesterday evening, made some pretty significant progress. So I've got them once again on my 9-inch circular needle, and I've just done the same formula as I did for those other ones. Long tail cast on, 20 rows of 2x2 rib, then just regular stockinette with 64 stitches, did I say? 64 stitches on 2mm needles. And this yarn is from Ashley of Nomadic Yarns, and this is her amazing Mischief Managed colourway. It's a nice Harry Potter colourway. She does a lot of Harry Potter ones. And this is just on her merino nylon. I think it's 75-25 ratioed base. And it has this like pale grey, black, like taupe and golden brown stripes. And then this amazing speckled section that's like this taupey brown, but with these amazing bright pops. There's some really dark speckles, there's like greens, there's even almost like a hot pink in there. Just, that little speckled stripe is just absolutely amazing. Ashley is a self-striping witch. I don't know how she does it. Her yarns are so beautiful, and like the transitions between the stripes are just seamless, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So I did get this quite a long time ago when the exchange rate, when the Australian dollar didn't absolutely suck against basically every currency. So it will be a long time before I buy anything from outside of Australia, I think, just because, yeah, the exchange rate sucks at the moment. But I'm absolutely, this colorway is just, I mean, seeing it in the skein and seeing the samples on Instagram, I loved it, but seeing it knit up is just absolutely incredible. I love it. So yes, that's Nomadic Yarns, Mischief Managed. Yeah, so that is all of my socks, and I do have just a quick update on 2 ongoing projects. I have my Yuri top by Amy Miller that is still just in the stockinette phase. Ooh, I should have tidied this up because I am alternating skeins and one of them is nearly done, so it's a little bit of a mess. It's now just in crazy jellyfish stage, just still regular stockinette. This is the Yuri top by Amy Miller, which was in issue 17-ish, 17 of Ami Risu magazine. Hold it the right way up. Eventually this will be a really cute baby doll style short sleeve top, but it's currently just really good mindless stockinette knitting. Yeah, I spoke about it last week. There's not really anything to report. It's just I've done more of the stockinette. So yeah, just so you know, I am still working on it, and that's my Yuri top, a very quick roll past the camera. And the other project that I am currently working on that I will just show you my progress is my Midsummer Rose shawl. First I want to show you what I'm holding it in. I went to IKEA last Friday, and it's just this like cute storage bucket. It's like a plasticized fabric, and it has this cute little hook on the side that's absolutely useless, but I mean you could kind of hang it if you wanted, but it's really cute and it kind of stands up on its own. And I have my shawl and all 4 skeins of the yarn sitting in there, so it's really good for, like, this is a huge shawl, so like a huge shawl or jumper size project. It's a really good size. You can kind of fit all the yarn and the project in one place. So I thought that was really cute. It's very crinkly, I'm very sorry about that, but yeah, thought it was really cute. And a new knitting container. I also realized when I finally got all of these skeins out of the postage packet that when I bought this yarn from White Gum Wool, they actually sent me a brochure with samples of all their different bases and colorways. How cool is that? Just like a little brochure, and then they have little snips of, this is their 4-ply and 8-ply, and then this is a combination of their 5-ply merino silk and their 12-ply boucle yarn. And just like little yarny octopuses. It has samples of all their colorways in there. And I just thought that was really, really cool. So you can get a really good look at what both of their bases look like. I'm knitting this in the White Gum Wool 4-ply in the colorway Sedge, which is this little spaghetti. This really pretty kind of golden, yellowy color. It's really, really lovely. And I'm still just going, I think I'm a couple of charts ahead of where I was last time. It really has gotten to the stage where showing it off is going to be nearly impossible. But yeah, I'm just working now on this slightly more spaced out lace. If you can, oh, this is going to be, let me see. Yeah, there we go. Slightly more spaced out lace here is what I'm working on at the moment. Yeah, and as I've said before, this is going to be a very long-term project. This shawl is going to be huge. I am knitting it on a 3.75mm higher sharp, which is my favorite needle for knitting lace knitting on because they're really nice and stabby and grabby. So yeah, that is my Midsummer Rose shawl, if you can believe it. It's just going to get more and more squished up on this cable. I might have to actually connect 2 cables together or something because it's going to get very, very big. I'll see how it goes. If it bothers me, I'll get I've got a connector somewhere that I can join 2 cables together just to make it a bit longer. But at this stage, I mean, it's hard because it's difficult to show off what you've done when the needles are bunched up, but I mean, it's going to be over 2 meters wide, so I definitely don't want a 2-meter cable. So that is my other current work in progress. So that's everything that I am working on at the moment, but I do have, I just looked down at my coffee, and the one thing that, I mean, it happens with most like nut and grain milks, but especially with one you've made yourself that has nothing holding it together, it gets very separated. So you do just have to stir the oat sediment into the beverage to make it look like a milk. I mean, it tastes good and it looks good. I find that oat milk has the most similar kind of the creamy texture that dairy milk, and I mean soy milk, that's the only good thing about soy milk, is it has that creamy texture. It tastes awful. It's just like not great, apparently. I read somewhere on the internet. I'm not a nutritionist, so do not listen to me for any advice on anything. But before I go today, there have been a few pattern releases recently that I have them on a piece of paper, that I've absolutely been obsessed with. And like I probably may never knit these / will knit them in like 500 years, because I'm trying not to buy too much yarn at the moment, and I do have quite a few things already that I've purchased yarn for that I should knit before going ahead with anything new. But I thought I'd share them with you. I'll insert some pictures of them as we go as well. So there's two patterns from Whitney Hayward, who designed the lovely Fukuro tank top. It's not a tank top, it's just a top that I'm wearing at the moment. The first one is a re-release of a pattern that she designed ages ago for Peace Fleece, which is her sassy cardigan. See picture now, but it's just a really nice, simple, basic, straightforward, throw it over everything kind of cardigan. Apparently it has shoulder pads, which I would usually not be into, but I'm kind of like, that sounds really cool and would be a cool thing to knit. It's just something different, but it's just a beautiful cardigan, and yes, I think it would be great in a neutral color, in a bright color. Just a really cool pattern. The other pattern from Whitney that is really, really cool, in the latest collection for the Harrisville Designs Nightshades yarn that she just released, there's this short-sleeved cropped jumper called the Elina pullover that's actually crocheted and not knit. I think Whitney said it's her first ever crocheted pattern that she's designed, and it's gorgeous. It has this beautiful open lacework yoke, and then like a textured body, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. That I think may be like making a dramatic leap up my queue, because I think they're going to be hosting a make along for it, and I think especially because a lot of the Harrisville Designs collections are usually just knitting patterns, and this is just a fun crocheted edition, and I think a lot of people who aren't experienced crocheters, I'm not either. I have crocheted quite a few things, but I'm not as good at it as I am at knitting. That we'll be doing a make along with like tutorials for beginners or knitters who want to learn how to crochet, because this pattern is just amazing. So I think I might join in on that. So I might have to, I think if I made it, I would definitely make it out of a plant fiber, just because, like, as I've said before, like a short sleeved wool is not really practical for the climate I live in, and the way crocheting's a lot tighter and more structured, so it works a lot better with plant fibers that don't have the elastic memory of wool. So yeah, they're two Whitney patterns. I love everything that she designs. I mean, she's one that I think for everyone there's a few designers that if you could just make their designs forever, you'd be happy, and Whitney is definitely one of those people. I love her, all of her designs so much, and she also just seems like a really cool person. Another pattern that I really love that I've seen in the new Brooklyn Tweed collection, Jared Flood's Forbes pullover, which is one of the designs I've done for the new ranch yarn release, which I don't really know what that is. I don't follow it that closely, but it's just got a really beautiful textured yoke, and the sample is knit in a beautiful creamy color. It just looks like a really beautiful fitting, versatile yoked jumper. It just looks really nice. And the last pattern I will mention and whack on the screen, by Alice Satano, the Escala cardigan, which will be in the new edition of Ami Risu magazine. It's just a gorgeous all over textured kind of drapey, dressing gowny kind of cardigan that looks really, really cool. So they're just some of my current crushes. Remember when that was going to be a segment I did all the time and just gave up on? They're my current crushes. And I don't know, what do you think? Let me know down below what you think of those patterns and if there's anything you would like to be casting on. Just, yeah, they're things that I will probably, will I ever make all 4 of those? Probably not. Will I ever make one of those? Hopefully. Maybe one day I can just knit all day, and then I'd probably end up with some sort of crazy tendon injury and never be able to knit again if I could. So, you know, a girl can dream. Let me know down below what you are wanting to cast on at the moment. And I will also, just before I go, I've worked out it's like the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. Well, it was earlier this week. It's very memorable because I think I published the first episode the day before I broke my ankle, which is a day that will be burned into my memory forever. But I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who has, there's a couple of you, about 5 of you that have been watching since right at the beginning, most of whom are my real life friends. So thank you so much for watching every episode. For everyone else who's come along over the course of the last year and enjoys the podcast and comments and yeah, has interacted with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's why I started this podcast, just so I could be a weird geek about knitting with other people who get it. So I mean, I don't want to sound too corny or anything, and it's not like, I don't know, it's just, I'm really, really grateful for all of you who have interacted with, even if you just watch the podcast and don't interact with it, I still really appreciate the fact that you've taken literally hours out of your life to sit and watch me talk to my phone about what I'm making. So before I get too gushy and emotional, I just like to maintain my facade as a stone cold bitch. Thank you. I really do appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, I hope you have a great week, and I've got myself all worked up now. Yeah, have a great week. Let me know down below what you're making, what you think of my things, what's on your current crushes. Is there any patterns that you've seen that you think I would like? All of that jazz. Let me know down below, and take care. I hope you're all really well, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.